One of our top stories now, the Republican gain of the House of Representatives in the U.S. midterm elections. To assess the impact that this may have on the Democrats, we get perspective from Scott Horton from the website antiwar.com. Thanks for joining me. So President Obama promised change, but now do you think he's going to have to change the way he works with the Republicans controlling the lower house?
Well, Obama never really delivered on any of the change that he promised, and now that the Republicans are back in power in Congress, he'll have even more incentive to move to the right, especially since they're only going to be able to make hay out of trying to obstruct him on domestic issues. The only place that he'll really be able to move with the cooperation of the Republicans is in escalating the wars, and that means, just like was easily predicted, never leaving Iraq, not at the end of 2011, not ever if the American Pentagon has their way. It means continuing to escalate in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Yemen, and Somalia, and God knows where else.
How significant do you think the Republican gains are? What impact do you think this could have, not at home only, but also in the international arena?
Well, as we saw during the Bush years, the Republicans in Congress are often more hawkish even than a Republican president, even more hawkish than Dick Cheney at some times, passing resolutions in support of particularly, for example, when Israel gets into a fight in Lebanon or in the West Bank or Gaza. Even if the Bush administration was trying to get them to chill out a little bit, the Congress would always pass resolutions completely endorsing everything that they were doing. Continually, there's pressure from the Israel lobby in Congress to ratchet up the sanctions on Iran, and which they continue to do. And this is Obama's agenda as well. He never brought any of that change that he talked about, but now matters are worse, basically. All the incentives are on him to move even further to the right.
And how about the START treaty? Do you think that that could be impacted by the Republican gains in the Congress?
Yeah, it looks like it. In fact, at antiwar.com, we recently published an article by a man named Darwin Bond Graham from the Los Alamos Study Group, who talked about how the Democrats, in order to get the Republicans in the Senate to sign on, which the Democrats still control the Senate, but by less of a majority now. But you need 2/3 to ratify a treaty. And in order to get the Republicans to sign on to the START treaty, they basically had to add so many amendments and riders to the thing that it basically allows for the creation of brand new generations of hydrogen bombs, dozens and dozens, uncounted new facilities for manufacturing hydrogen bombs, more submarines, more air power, and they've changed the counting methods for the nuclear warheads in such a way that actually the United States doesn't really have to reduce their stockpile of nuclear weapons hardly at all. So they've turned what ought to be the most important issue in the world, the mutual reduction of America and Russia's nuclear weapon stockpiles towards zero, and turned it into a farce, turned it into a way for Republican congressmen to get bankrolled so that they can run again next time and keep the companies that manufacture nuclear weapons and or make the parts for the manufacture of nuclear weapons in business at the expense of the rest of us and at the risk of our entire species, in fact.
Considering the results, do you think it's fair to say that the Democratic agenda of the last 2 years was a failure?
Well, absolutely. Barack Obama, particularly in the Middle East, he came in with his big Cairo speech promising hope and change in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I have trouble believing that he was naive about how difficult it would be to achieve anything there, but he just set the whole world up for a giant disappointment there, as virtually nothing at all has changed. The so-called settlement freeze never even kicked in. Now they're debating whether they're going to keep it or not. And across the world, the wars rage on. Pakistan is continuing to unravel. Obama has escalated American so-called covert force, CIA and Special Operations Command in Yemen and in Somalia. Well, really continues us on the path toward bankruptcy. So maybe that's a success for the Obama team. It seems to be what they want, but it's certainly a tragedy for the United States and for the people of the various, more than a handful of countries that we're at war with right now.
All right, we're going to have to leave it at that. Scott Horton from antiwar.com speaking with us from LA.